7 a.m. and 45 seconds. It's now time for the Morning Watch with Mr. Stokeley Marshall.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to all listeners on love101.org. And if you are U.S. listeners, can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live in the main watch today. Haiti in crisis. And in the second watch, Taking Back from Satan, book launch. For our social media question, we ask, what can you do for Haiti while it is in crisis? Share your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes too. 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your comments later on the program, but first, here's I quote.
Today's quote is from Alan Jackson, and it says, God makes our lives better, but it doesn't mean he makes it easy. That one from Alan Jackson.
Well, that one is interesting indeed. Many people might share his views.
Right?
Well, certainly it makes your life better. The main watch will be back after this break.
In life, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry. The more you own, the less you sleep.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whatever I own
and whoever I care about are covered by the very best.
With Sagicor Life and Advantage General, get life, health, and general insurance to help you protect what matters most.
All right, we're going to do a roll call.
The Love Jockey is on duty every Saturday inside Youth Connection. Don't miss the hype, don't miss the tunes, don't miss the excitement with your boy DJ Rebirth. Saturdays at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on your family station. Tune in at 4 p.m. for our gym feature where we share word to grow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m. we share with you how young people are giving of their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We're gonna take a poetry and spoken word inside Poetry and Praise. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Things at 5. All this and more every Saturday on your family station. Love 101 at 3 p.m. inside Youth Connection with your love jockey, your boy, DJ Rebirth.
DJ Rebirth.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco. Bashco. The everything where you need. Bashco. Quality service guaranteed on a Bashco. Get it on a Bashco. Get you more. Yeah. Bashco. Furniture for your house. Everything for your kitchen. Rocks, hubs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the first watch now. The international airport in the neighboring country of Haiti had been closed to flights, and even the now former Prime Minister of Haiti was unable to return to that island. And the National Palace on the weekend had been attacked by heavily armed men, and a part of the Interior Ministry was set on fire with petrol bombs. It's also reported that police stations had been set ablaze in the days leading up to where we are now. Violence was erupting or had erupted all over in various parts of the capital. Now, Haiti, being a neighbor or one of our neighbors in the Caribbean, is hurting, obviously. And there might be quite a number of humanitarian issues arising. We do recall that in 2010 they did have an earthquake. So it's likely that persons are still overcoming the shock of that, even though that is now some time ago. Well, what is happening today? And in terms of the most recent news, or among the most recent news, we are seeing where the Haitian Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, or Henry, depending on how persons, type his name, write his name, has resigned as Prime Minister of Haiti. This is very, very recent. And that resignation comes amid rising violence in the French-speaking country and mounting pressure from gangs in Haiti for him to step aside. We have as our guest so far in this first watch, Pastor Bruce Fletcher, pastor of the Mona Baptist Church and United Theological College of Jamaica lecturer. We also hope to have online shortly a representative of the church in Haiti, but so far it appears as if we don't have him on. Pastor Fletcher, good morning. Pastor Fletcher?
Are you hearing me? Good morning.
We're hearing you loud and clear, Pastor Fletcher.
Okay, I think you have some corrections there. I am the chairman of Operation Save Jamaica, and also the founder of Christian Diaspora Initiative coming out of Jamaica and spreading to the Caribbean and beyond. So that's my good friend is Reverend Stephen Jennings, who we also work together on the reparation matter, is a pastor of Mona Baptist.
Oh, I see. I assumed you had changed hats or were wearing a new hat. So, Pastor Bruce Fletcher, until we have our guest from Haiti on, can you give us an update as to what's happening in Haiti at the moment? And you might even want to make a comment on the role of the interfaith movement in Haiti, because we do see we're in this transitional government to take the reins of power in Haiti. There is to be a representative of the interfaith community there. And when one hears of things like this, might not always be politically correct to say it, but it does begin to ring the bells of a one world government. Pastor Fletcher, I don't know if you have wish to comment on that.
Okay, I think you outlined quite well what is happening in Haiti. When Dr. Volsi comes on, he will be able to tell you some of what's happening on the ground. But our friends there, it's really terrible. They can't move. It's really in a crisis, to say the least. One of the things I would just say, though, is as the church, we have to represent the kingdom in the earth. Jesus said, "Let your light so shine before men that they will see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." And I think as Haiti is our neighbor, and Jesus spoke about who is our neighbor. I think for quite some time, many of us have ignored Haiti and what was happening there. and which has become a major crisis there. And sometimes we think when what's happened to our neighbors won't affect us, but eventually it will. So I think as a church, we need to demonstrate and see how we can play our role in making a difference in Haiti. So working with different partners in order to see that change, I think is important. So we work with different groups to make a difference within the context of Haiti. I think one of the things that we have done in the past is writing to our government and to CARICOM in terms of addressing, making sure that we put it on a front burner to address this issue that was happening and brewing in Haiti. And what has happened now is, in a sense, nothing strange, because we could see the writing on the wall. And so as a church, we know that churches are involved in different ways in Haiti. But I think we need to attack it from different levels, from the government side. And so the church needs to speak to the leaders in CARICOM and what is happening now is what we had recommended as well, where the CARICOM play a role in negotiating with the wider international forces to see what are the strategies that could be employed inside of Haiti. So Dr. Volsi, he might not say it, but when a few months ago, they came to kidnap him in his own church, the gangs came to, but somehow he escaped that. And I think it was miraculous that how he escaped that, because they came to the church with guns, etc., to kidnap him. So that's just giving an indication of the level of what is taking place in Haiti. And he has had a number of his own members of his church kidnapped. So there are different things that have been happening on the ground, which is totally frightening. And I think what is happening as well, that the violence and the gang development is spreading from Port-au-Prince to the rest of the country. And so it's real, because the person's outside. I spoke to somebody in Florida who said they went to Haiti recently, and he said he was able to go because he wasn't going in Port-au-Prince. But now you hear that it is spreading across the country. And so intervention is necessary. I think what the people in Haiti wants is where they play a role in the solution. In the past, it seems like the international forces directed what would happen. And I think the approach now should be where it is there's close dialogue with the Haitian people of the solution for their country.
Any comments on the interfaith movement in the transitional government?
Well, I think in Haiti, they have included the interfaith persons.
Pastor Fletcher, if you would just hold that thought 1 second, because I now see where we are upon a break. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Episode of the Mailbox, we'll be going on an investigative journey as we focus on the topic Enrollment Part 2. Educating the next generation of men will help to fight back against ignorance. However, there are fewer males than females enrolled and achieving in our educational institutions. What are the factors contributing to the low enrollment and achievement numbers of our males in schools? We will explore the possible reasons for some men seemingly not signing up for that kind of learning. You are invited to join us as we look into the issues with Dr. Howard Harvey, Career Development Officer at Heart NSTA Leap Center on Wednesday, March 13 at 5:30 p.m. The Family Station, Love 101. The Mailbox, Monday
Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888 Sagicor to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
Receive words of strength from the Voice of Power with Bishop Dr. Delford Davis.
The battle of seed has been declared many years ago and is still raging. I will put enmity between thee and between the woman, thy seed and her seed. A war will be on perpetually until Jesus returns. But I know who has already won the war. I know who has already won the war.
That's the Voice of Power with Bishop Dr. Delford Davis, brought to you by the Power of Faith Ministries International in Portmore. Voice of Power comes to you every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Speak, my Lord. Speak, my Lord. Speak, and I will answer. Lord, send me.
Chances are you're sitting in your car right now, or even a taxi, and you're stuck in traffic. But if you had a Flow prepaid plan, you would have unlimited data for navigation apps, so you could avoid much of the traffic and find a better way. So you would avoid bad driving Bobby to your right, who is boring into your lane, and singing Sasha, who doesn't realize everyone can see her. Now, Flow's unlimited social and talk prepaid plans come with unlimited data for navigation apps and more TikTok data and many use data. Get a 7-day Flow prepaid plan for only $950. Get your plan. Download the Top Up Flow app. Conditions apply.
The biblical crossing of the Red Sea was best known as God's way of leading the Israelites into a new beginning. But let's dive deeper, as this miracle story from shore to shore is drenched with wonders and revelations. Tuesday, March 12, on The Rock, join guests Pastor Silburn Carr and Silton Townsend as they discuss the topic, parting and crossing the Red Sea. That's The Rock, Tuesday, March 12 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are speaking this morning in this first watch with Pastor Bruce Fletcher, and the topic is Haiti in crisis. We also still hope to have a guest on from Haiti, a pastor from that neighboring island, which has been going through quite a bit of trauma recently, as we speak, actually. Now, Pastor Fletcher, as I indicated, the Prime Minister, my apologies, the Prime Minister of Haiti has resigned. And he did so on it was indicated that he would have done so once there's a presidential council in place. On this presidential council, which has a couple of members, one of them is from the interfaith community, not an ecumenical community, interfaith, different religions, not just a Christian religion. Any thoughts on that, Pastor?
Well, I think there has to be a working together in terms of how do we solve the issues in Haiti. So I think there has to be that kind of approach, while recognizing that there are spiritual forces that we have to be praying and countering in what takes place generally, not just in Haiti, but in our own country, as we deal with issues of violence, etc.
Would you happen to know who caused a member of the interfaith movement or community to be on the presidential council?
No, I think Julia would be better to say that. And so I'm sorry he's not here. For us, we are here supporting the persons in Haiti to make a difference. And so our role was really to come alongside them. And when we started as Haiti Connect, they were so appreciative that here are people in the Caribbean who are concerned for what is happening over there. They felt that, there was that lack of concern. But then as we met with them, even one of the persons, as we shared and as we spoke and as we listened to them, there were just tears that was saying that they are so thankful for our concern for them. And so they would have to give more of the details of the situation in Haiti.
In terms of Haiti and other countries, not just Haiti, but we're focusing on Haiti today. We know that there is the practice of voodoo in that country. In fact, it is a national religion of Haiti. And I believe that might be the legacy of former Prime Minister Jean-Bertrand Aristide. It became a national religion, I believe, under his leadership. And it's a well practiced, it's well practiced there. And some Christians in Haiti, I'm imagining, might be a little bit uncomfortable. I'm thinking if a presidential council might have this sort of interfaith component where there is that possibility, maybe, I don't know, that you could have not just other mainline religions, but even the possibility of the persons who practice that particular practice of voodoo. I don't know. Any thoughts on that? Because you did indicate that there needs to be a working together, and some people might say light and darkness can't mix, as politically incorrect as it is to say that.
I think that we always have to be careful about spiritual forces that are at work, and I think that for us as Christians, there are some spiritual negative forces from the voodoo religion.
And let me preface it quickly. I do not know if they will even be a part of that interfaith community or movement or council. I'm just imagining that to the extent that the voodoo religion exists, and it is an official religion, there really ought not to be a reason why they can't be included. But continue, Pastor Fletcher.
Right. In the midst of that, we are looking to find solutions. And so where we can play a role in contributing to the betterment of the country, I think we should play that role while we pray in regards to spiritual forces that might have negative impact, which we do in terms of our own communities here in Jamaica, as well as we would do in Haiti. So I think that in the midst, the overall thing is that what we're after is helping people, changing the situation, making a difference in a positive way. And that is why we pray, because we know that there are spiritual forces that are at work, and the spiritual forces are not just in regards to other religions as we might see it, but it's also in regards to other things that are happening in the world generally. And so we always have to be praying against those spiritual forces that are at work while still negotiating to make a difference.
Changing gears a little bit, Pastor Fletcher, what should the response of the church and the Jamaican government be at this time? And I mean, look at it. There were these gangs who did, various things in that country, leading or culminating in the resignation of the Prime Minister. What is to say that afterwards these same gangs won't do the same thing or worse? In other words, what would happen so suddenly and miraculously to make them cease carrying out any form of mayhem just because of regime change? Pastor Fletcher, your thoughts?
Well, I think one of the things I've been hearing out of Haiti from some of the church leaders is that there needs to be an overall in terms of how the constitution is. Some of the things need to be changed so that even after this intervention, because they've had interventions before and it has not lasted long. And so there are some things internally that needs to be addressed. And I think, and I remember even somebody from our own government mentioned the challenge of their own constitution when it comes to the matter of elections, etc. So I think that needs to be addressed. I think that the people there need to be a little bit more united, because I think part of the problems that is there in Haiti, which might be as a result of how their constitution is that there are the division is too much. And so what they need to be able to do is to find common ground in certain areas so that there can be a common working together among them. There was a part of the question I missed, so could you just repeat the part of the question I missed?
Well, what would cause? Well, I'm sort of paraphrasing and rephrasing a little bit. Gang warfare, mayhem, leading up to the resignation of the prime minister. What would stop the gang warfare suddenly? In fact, it could even get worse, just because of regime change.
Oh, no. So there's going to be need a process, and that process I think will need.
In other words, the gangs will still be there.
Oh no! So they have to tackle the gangs. They have to bring law and order in the system. We also have to look at how we treat the younger people who were involved because of the older persons pulling them into the gangs. But it has to be a fulsome approach, dealing with government, dealing with the gangs, dealing with economy. So there are several things, also dealing with how the international forces treat them. International bodies have treated Haiti over the years. And I think that we need to relook at that. And just like how we are addressing the issue of reparations in the rest of the Caribbean, I think that we need to look at reparation in regards to Haiti.
Okay, understood. Now, before we wrap, Pastor Fletcher, I don't know if, well, we don't have our Haitian guest on, but would you be able to say anything at all about Beyond Borders? What is Haiti Beyond Borders? That initiative.
Well, no, it's not just about Haiti. It's about the Caribbean working together. And it's about how do we support Haiti, but how do we deal with other issues, violence and crime, which is spreading across the Caribbean. You know, I hear that St. Kitts, for example, has the highest murder rate per capita. Most of us would know that Trinidad, in terms of crime, is increasing. I heard about Curacao and Cayman recently. What are the spiritual things that are at work? But what are also some of the interventions that the church can get involved in, even like in Jamaica, to make a difference in terms of crime and violence? One solution is community transformation. So I think that, so that's, we're also looking at schools. What is happening in our schools and how do we address this antisocial behavior, which has become so much, increased in our school.
Pastor Fletcher, only because of time.
Yeah, and we can learn from one another across the Caribbean. We have similar histories. How do we look back at our own history and solve the problems of the region?
I have to leave it there this morning, Pastor Fletcher. Very interesting discussion we had here this morning on Haiti. And of course, we continue to pray for the people of Haiti and for persons like Dr. Volchi, who was supposed to have been a guest this morning, and we, alas, did not have him on. We hope that he's fine, and we hope that he is safe and free from all violence. Thank you, Pastor Fletcher, for being with us this morning. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back at the Morning Watch.
Anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by JM Bank is
7:30.
When you say phosphorus, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say phosphorus, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say phosphorus, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Phosphorus is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Phosphorus.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinckney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinckney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Hello, Jamaica. Have you heard about the National Prophetic Healing and Deliverance Conference happening at the Holy Childhood High School Auditorium in Halfway Tree?
This coming Friday to Sunday.
6 each night. Admission is free. Speakers include Prophet Vincent Grant from Ghana, Bishop Joseph Mahaya from South Africa, Pastor Crystal Grant from Barbados, Pastor Errol White from Jamaica, and many others. Come out for your healing, your deliverance, and your breakthrough.
Don't miss it. See you there.
Me pull up at the gas station and the attendant come up.
87 or 90?
I don't know why him think I would put 87 in my new car. But me answer him. But when him say
cash or card,
me say, big man, why would I take my cash and buy gas? I pay for everything with my surgical bank credit card. Grocery, gas, bills. Cause when you use your card, you get your reward. If I pay cash, you are gonna give me a reward.
Me can wipe your windscreen.
Earn the best rewards ever with surgical bank credit cards. Conditions apply.
Coming up on the next Campus Connection this Tuesday, March 12th, we will be focusing on trending health. Health is indeed multifaceted, encompassing various dimensions beyond just the physical. These dimensions interplay to create a holistic sense of well-being. What are some of the current standards and practices our students and other stakeholders can adopt to ensure optimal health in our education system? You are invited to join the conversation with Mr. Rinaldi Brian Anderson, Dean Hill Technical High School, Mrs. Karen Jones, First Care Medical Plan Jamaica, Nurse Suwan Ricketts, St. Catherine High School, Honorable Guest, Miss Deidreana Ferguson, Black River High School. That's Campus Connection this Tuesday, March 12th at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101.
On the next episode of the Mailbox, we'll be going on an investigative journey as we focus on the topic Enrollment Part 2. Educating the next generation of men will help to fight back against ignorance. However, there are fewer males than females enrolled and achieving in our educational institutions. What are the factors contributing to the low enrollment and achievement numbers of our males in schools? We will explore the possible reasons for some men seemingly not signing up for that kind of learning. You are invited to join us as we look into the issues with Dr. Howard Harvey, Career Development Officer at Heart NSTA Leap Center on Wednesday, March 13 at 5:30 p.m. The Family Station, Love 101. The Mailbox, Monday
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have in the Gleaner, high expectations as Clark, referring to the Minister of Finance, opens budget debate today. And we have also in the Observer, Council of Churches says Haitians must be empowered to govern themselves. We turn now to Loop Jamaica News. Me just warm back my daughter. Parents of stolen newborn baby speak. Me just warm back my daughter, parents of stolen newborn baby. We turn to the Jamaica Gleaner. More Haitian news. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry resigns. Ariel Henry has resigned as Prime Minister of Haiti. CARICOM Chairman Irfan Ali announced a short while ago, and that story continues. And a story connected to Haiti as well. Mexico calls for sanctioning of players financing Haitian gangs. Those and many other stories in our various news sources. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp question, which is, what can you do for Haiti while it is in crisis? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes too. 876-9973-125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
Coming up on the next Campus Connection this Tuesday, March 12th, we will be focusing on trending health. Health is indeed multifaceted, encompassing various dimensions beyond just the physical. These dimensions interplay to create a holistic sense of well-being. What are some of the current standards and practices our students and other stakeholders can adopt to ensure optimal health in our education system? You are invited to join the conversation with Mr. Rinaldi Brian Anderson, Dint Hill Technical High School, Mrs. Karen Jones, First Care Medical Plan Jamaica, Nurse Suwan Ricketts, St. Catherine High School, honorable guest, Miss Deidreana Ferguson, Black River High School. That's Campus Connection this Tuesday, March 12th at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101.
The biblical crossing of the Red Sea was best known as God's way of leading the Israelites into a new beginning. But let's dive deeper as this miracle story from shore to shore is drenched with wonders and revelations. Tuesday, March 12, on The Rock, join guests Pastor Silburn Carr and Silton Townsend as they discuss the topic, parting and crossing the Red Sea. That's The Rock, Tuesday, March 12 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join Jakal for a look at how our friends on social media have answered and responded to the question, what can you do for Haiti while it is in crisis? Jakal.
All right, so we do have a response here from Cherry in Spanish Town. She says, good morning, everyone. What she will do is to continue praying that good sense will prevail going forward and help in their humanitarian needs. And that's our response is.
Well,
yeah.
Pretty simple. Praying is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because some of the pictures and the videos you're seeing coming out of Haiti are quite harrowing.
Yeah, I agree.
And even our guest this morning indicated that the other person who was to have been a guest, I hope he's fine, hope he's safe, but there was an attempted kidnapping.
Wow.
I mean,
that's crazy.
This is not a movie. This is not a drill. This is really happening.
This is not Netflix. This is real life.
This is real life.
Yeah.
We move right into the second watch. It's a 3-book series called Taking Back. Taking Back. It sheds much light on the issues affecting our children, nations, and families, and how we can navigate these with Christ at the helm. We have as our guest Minister Donna Hussey Stewart, author. Donna Hussey Stewart, Minister Hussey Stewart. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm very well. Thanks be to God.
Great having you on. Now tell us about your books and the subjects and a synopsis of each series.
Okay. So yes, the series consists of 3 books. Well, first of all, let me just greet everyone, all our listeners, the entire nation, and others who are listening from elsewhere, online and via radio. And I'm very grateful and honored to be here. So I'm here because in 2021, I was actually commissioned to write the book, Taking Back Our Children from the Clutches of Satan.
Right.
And that happened when I was in Uganda at that time. And I learned about the 10-point plan of Alice Bailey. People may or may not be familiar with her. She
Please
was
remind us about it. Please remind us about it.
Okay, so she was an occultist. She existed some 80 years ago. And what she did, she met with her master, as she puts it, in her basement, and they came up with a 10-point plan. Now, those 10-point plan have now been adopted by the European Union and the UN in particular. And those 10-point plans are what are now governing our nations. And so when I heard about it, I was so angered because I live in Canada, and just about all the points that she came up with are in effect. And I will tell you what the plans are shortly.
Donna Hussey Stewart, you make this sound so mild. It's not just a 10-point plan, it's a 10-point plan to destroy Christianity.
And to destroy nations,
yes.
And to destroy our children, and to destroy our family.
She is, it's recorded here online. If you just do a simple Google search, it's indicated that she's known as one of the founders of the New Age movement as well.
Exactly.
Yes, continue, please.
And then what I discovered when I was doing a little research on her is that even from way back then, she would be working along with the United Nations.
Oh.
So, right. So those plans, now, they are no surprise. So I'm going to tell you I'm going to just let listeners know what these 10 points are.
Okay, go ahead.
So number 1, take God and prayer out of the education system. Now we can determine what we see happening now.
Yeah.
And number 2, reduce parental authority over our children.
Yes.
Number 3.
And we see that happening as well.
We see that happening, especially like in the US, Canada, a lot of countries.
Scandinavia.
Yes. And then the 3rd point, destroy the Judeo-Christian family structure or the traditional Christian family structure. We see that happening because nowadays we have over 4,200 different religions that have risen up. And the fact is that if you can get your mind off Christianity and focus on any other religion, that proves a death sentence for people. So number 4, if sex is free, then make abortion legal and make it easy. Something we see being pushed into nations.
Yes.
Number 5, make divorce easy and legal, free people from the concept of marriage for life. Then we go down to the 6th point. And this one is probably the most prevalent of the list now, because in every season there is something else being vigorously pushed. Now we have the 6th point, make homosexuality an alternative lifestyle. We see that happening. Now 7, debase art, make it run mad. So whatever you see out there as art, I always say, I remember once upon a time, years ago, I was in Crossroad and I saw a billboard with a completely naked woman, and it was a huge big board right at Carib, when Carib was Carib, and it was there. And I was traveling with my son at the time, and he was probably about 6, and I was so upset over the whole thing because it is supposed to be art, but then when people, especially children, look at those things, what is it that is being planted in their minds? So debase art, make it run mad. Number 8, use media to promote and change mindsets.
Yes.
That I can tell you is happening so much because, like I said, I live in Canada, and you see advertising a simple thing as chewing gum, and you see 2 women who are kissing. This is the media. You see men and men who are kissing. So they're not just putting the idea into your head anymore.
Minister Hussey Stewart, because we are now upon a break, give us the others after we come back from the break. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
The time is now 7:45 a.m. You're listening to Love 101. This is the Morning Watch.
Juicy party with the Coca-Cola. Juicy party when me can't get over. Coca-Cola the refreshing soda. Juicy party man a real eye roller. In a Coca-Cola I'm living la vida loca. Plus the juicy party flavor got me dancing like a soca. Fried chicken, cooked food, saltfish and callaloo. Breakfast, lunchtime, even little dinner too. Party chicken, party veggie, party plant-based. Mega party cheese that me need. Love the chicken soup or even patties. When me last night I had Coca-Cola in my jeans. Juicy party with the Coca-Cola. Juicy party when me can't get over. Coca-Cola the refreshing soda. Juicy party man a real line roller. Show your favorite juicy food of the Coca-Cola today.
We're welcoming every woman with a special International Women's Day offer at Sagicor Bank. Women who apply for a Sagicor Bank credit card get 5,000 bonus points with a qualifying purchase within 30 days. That's not all. Apply for a car loan or mortgage, and Sagicor Bank will welcome you with a reduction in your commitment fee. At Sagicor Bank, we want every woman to feel welcome. Conditions apply.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school? And now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less, or two or three, at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar, and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease, and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch. The topic is Taking Back from Satan, book launch. And our guest is author, Minister Donna Hussey Stewart. Now, Minister Hussey Stewart, just before the break, you were outlining to us a 10-point plan as coined, or that Alice Bailey came up with a 10-point plan to destroy Christianity, it is indicated. So it is said, and you had been through the first 8. You had numbers 9 and 10 to outline to us. Please continue.
Okay, so thank you. So number 9 now would be create an interfaith movement.
Interestingly,
Again,
pause there. Interestingly, that came up unexpectedly in the first watch. It wasn't planned, but it came up because that was not intended originally. But in looking at the certain things coming out of Haiti now in terms of their newly formed presidential council, we saw the relevance of an interfaith movement, the interfaith movement continue. Minister Hussey Stewart.
So we see that the enemy is definitely at work and is moving in our every nation.
No comment. Minister Hussey Stewart.
So then we go to number 10 points. Get government to make all these law and get the church to endorse these changes.
Can you comment a little bit on the last one and get the church to endorse these changes? Can you comment on that? If you would.
Well,
in a second or two.
Well, yes, because honestly, you have the church is the entity, first of all, that will crumble all of these movements, that will crumble Babylon. But you have some churches who are very accommodating. You have churches who are now marrying gays. You have churches who are apologizing to the homosexual community. So you have some churches who are actually endorsing these changes.
Yes.
But God will come back.
And some ministers of religion agreeing with abortion, at least to some extent.
Oh yes.
And other things.
Yes.
That are contrary to the word of God.
But the fact is that many are called, few are chosen. And even in the body of Christ, God will come back to take the church out of the church, so to speak. So not everybody who says, Lord, Lord, will enter into his kingdom. but those who stand for righteousness, irrespective of what it is and what it costs.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we get back to get government to make all these laws, and we realize that one of the things that are happening is that more influential nations, and I will say Canada, for example,
yes,
and US, are now pushing this agenda.
It's not a secret.
Right, it's not a secret.
Yes.
And they are pushing these agenda into every other nation that they can get into. And once they get a loophole in, all of these 10-point plans take effect. Because when you look at US, for example, God has been taken out of schools.
Yes.
So you don't have Christianity being taught. When you look at Canada, I know that of a fact. You cannot talk about God in schools. You can't have, like how we have street meetings in Jamaica, crusades and stuff. You can't have that. You cannot have a pastor going up in front of a congregation and talking about homosexuality is wrong, because the church would be shut down.
Yes.
So we see that these are laws.
Yes.
And I like I said, I have a neighbor directly in front of me, and it's a woman and a woman, and they are legally married. So these things are happening.
Yes.
So these 10-point plans, I know it is no secret anymore that the enemy is pushing the agenda, but what he's doing is using the United Nations. And going back to the book series now, coming out of taking back our children from the clutches of Satan, God has now commissioned me to do taking back our family. In the taking back of our family from the clutches of Satan, we see where our men are losing their rightful positions. We see that a lot of homes, they have single parent, and a lot of times it's the woman. Why? Because the men are the head, they should be the priest. And once the enemy can knock out the men, then he has full reign in that home. If that woman is not standing firm and standing for Christ, and even when she is, something is lacking. So then there is the taking back our family. We see that our children are going to school, and instead of being taught God, they have a lot of schools in the US now. You have Satan Club for kids. And there's a jingle that they have that when you hear it, and they're telling you that it is okay to be black, white, or gay to these little children. So
Yes,
they are pushing the agenda.
They add it as an appendage at the end of black and white.
Yes.
Yes.
So gay now is just normal. It's just like black and white.
Yes, to sort of normalize it.
Yes. And so they are playing on the minds of our children from as young as 2. You're going to some stores and you see on the baby clothes, you see be who you want to be, and the big rainbow sign and all of that. So they're infiltrating families, and they are doing it in such a subtle way that before you realize what is happening, you're accepting of it.
I see.
Then I did that.
Sorry, continue. I'm about to ask you more about your book series, but you continue.
And then the book now, taking back our nations. So we move from children to family to nations, because Alice Bailey's target is for all 3, our children, our family, and our nations. Now the nations is more in-depth, because there's a lot of things going on where the nations are concerned, government accepting money and having to accept and implement these 10 points into your nation as a part of whether they are aware of it. I like to think that they're aware, but sometimes they turn a blind eye because they want the money to run the country and all of that. So these books are to encourage people, to enlighten, to educate, for people to understand what is happening around us. This is no longer the time when we can pretend as if nothing is happening.
It's in your face.
Exactly. And we cannot just sit back and do nothing, because God says in Revelation that it is better that you were cold or hot. It's better that you were cold rather than you're lukewarm. If you're lukewarm, it's going to spew you out. So if you're just going to sit and say, okay, this is happening, this is the way the world is going now.
Let me just hold my head down and just do my own thing.
Yes.
Yes.
This is no longer the time for it.
We're
because
we were never.
Yes. Because you know what is happening? The enemy is proud to showcase what he has. When you go to Canada and the polls and the sidewalk, they are painted in rainbow color. You have an entire month dedicated to Pride Month, as they have dubbed it. And the people will march. What are you marching to say? I pledge allegiance to Satan, because that's not God. But what are we doing as a body and as a people?
Just the marching, Minister Hussey Stewart. This is what they're not wearing when they're marching. Not wearing.
Yes. What they
yes.
And there, yes. And and people are, and this is large groups of people just accepting. But they don't realize that it is more, even the church, I don't think, don't realize that it's more than just a march to say we are gay. It is a march to say, okay, I am proud of Satan. I pledge allegiance to him and I'm openly declaring it so you can see.
You know, there seems to be something particularly interesting about this series of books you have. You move from the children to the family to the nation. What next, if anything, and what is your overall objective? And tell us about the launch.
Okay, so what next? Honestly, I don't know. Why? Because as God commission is as I write.
As I was saying, it hasn't given the next instruction yet.
No, because when I did children, I thought I was stopping at children.
Yes.
And then he said no family. And then when family was done, I had to go on to nations. So honestly, I don't know what's next.
It was like you're being obedient. Tell us about the launch.
The launch happens on Thursday, March 14th at the Jamaica Observer. That is interesting because that's where I worked for almost 10 years and God has brought me back there.
They are media.
Yes. And we need the media now. But since they wanted the media to change mindsets. As a media, we now have to flip the script. Yes. And do what God wants us to do. There's a lot of work that the media needs to get done. And there's a lot of work that the media is doing.
Okay, so remind us of the dates of the launch and the time.
The launch is on March 14th, which is this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Jamaica Observer.
Okay. And some persons listening might say, I heard Donna Hussey Stewart being interviewed by Stokeley Marshall on this program, and she sounds so hateful and she doesn't like us, etc. What is your word, if anything, for such persons who, whatever you may have said, whether you are criticizing the Satan Club or you're criticizing LGBTQ or you're criticizing persons who practice abortion, what message do you have for such persons who are engaged in any of these practices that the God doesn't like?
Let me tell you, I hate anything that God hates. It's as simple as that. And I love everything and everyone that God loves. You see, well, what I want people to understand, though I know my tone, I'm always like very, very firm in what I say. But the fact of the matter is that
God is firm, God is firm.
Exactly. And this is a spiritual war. It's not against the people. If you're a homosexual, it's not against you as an individual. Because if you read some of these books, especially the children one, I think there's a chapter in there that tells you that even homosexuality is a spirit that can be passed down. So it's how we deal with the root of the problem.
Yes.
It's not just looking at the person, hating them, shunning them, putting them out of our house or our community. It goes deeper than that. It's a spiritual warfare. We're not wrestling flesh and blood. So we're not fighting these people.
Donna Hussey Stewart, only because of time, we have to stop there today because of the time. I do see where we are completely out of time. I want to thank you for your time and for your thoughts today, and all the best with your book launch.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
And thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we look at other topical and controversial issues. Visit the Love 101 FM YouTube channel and Facebook page for this and all of the Love 101 FM programs, and listen to the Morning Watch on our Love 101 app. Download it today and stay connected to us, the family station, the number one gospel station of Jamaica, Love 101 FM. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. I am Stokeley Marshall, and handing back Love in the Morning with Chakal.